should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
GameWorn Radio is on the air.
Okay.
We're going bowling. Now, let's go on Moose on a Harley. The fire, she scores! LA face with an Oakland booty. Scores! Make me a bicycle. They score!
Hello.
Bowmeister, pay that man his money.
GameWorn Radio.
Hello.
Hey everybody, it's Derek, GameWorn Radio, part of GameWorn.us. I'm here with Dan, Nick Viris. How's it going?
Oh, come on. It's Viris.
You gotta go with the virus, man. It's been, 6 months since our last shindig doing this thing? That's pretty crazy. It's almost 6 months to the day.
Yeah. I'm still slinging those shits on eBay.
Still slinging some shits on eBay?
Yeah.
Hey man, it's always good to have a good callback. You gotta have callbacks. It's what makes life interesting. But we're here today. We're going to be talking about pretty much anything that Nick wants to talk about. The reason why we're having this show, Nick hit me up. He's like, hey man, I want to do a show. I was like, everybody wants to do a show. Nobody wants to give me a date and a time. And he's like, how about this date? How about this time? And I'm like, we can do that. So that's why we're here. You got some shit you want to talk about, even though you're still slinging shits.
Well, the hobby is down big time. I mean, you look at eBay, you look at the interest, it's way down. The pricing for NHL stuff is way, way down. I'm looking on what Migraine Detroit Hockey Company is getting for Arizona stuff, like 69, 79, 89, you know? It just shows you what's happening with the NHL market, you know?
69.
Yeah. Authentic, that's less than the price of a replica.
It's almost crazy not to buy.
But there's so many of them, Derek. So many.
What do you think that is? What do you think
First of
are
all,
factors?
3 sets of white, 3 sets of red. Not enough new people coming in, Derek. And then, you know, the same what we talked about. Not enough new people. Same with all the hobbies, cards, hockey fight, and DVD, classic games. There's no new people coming in. What do we got to do? We got to do something.
Well, I mean, you have a finite number of people that actually collect this stuff, talk about this stuff, look for this stuff, and then you have an overabundance of jersey availability and production, and people only have so much money to buy. I mean, I know I've cut down my spending pretty huge just because stuff's easier to get. The new stuff is easier to get, and what's crazy to me is people are willing to pay out the nose for stuff direct from the team or distributor. And then as soon as that person, like if you wanted to sell it the next day, that person that was fighting you in line to get it won't pay what you paid. It's insane. Mm-hmm. It's like a new car. It's crazy.
Like everybody's like wants to do the easy way, 188 migraine, and don't want to chase it like I do with the teams. And you know, there's a lot of boorish behavior lately with teams. You think you have a deal and you don't hear from them after, you know? I mean, but that's the thrill. That's the work of it, you know? It's like Dan and Dale gets the thrill of the chase. Today, everybody just wants to pick up a phone, you know, and just get their jersey.
Well, I mean, there's a lot to be said with, like, jerseys these days. Like, you can trust a lot of stuff that's out there right now as to be real, because everybody's getting it direct from the source, and it's come with all this paperwork and stuff. And it's like, that is crippling, like, some of the vintage market where people know that what they have is good, but other people don't trust it, and nobody's doing their own research.
We talked about the old days. Remember when Dan and Derek where there was no research, there was no things available, and remember we talked about how many bad jerseys are in people's collections that if they come out now, what recourse do you have? Like, how do you know?
Oh yeah.
Because you could get Sandos, you could get CCM Authentics back then, and there were cresters that did the numbers right down to the T, you know?
Well, how do you grow the hobby? I don't see anybody right now, including myself, because of what I've been doing in the background, actively trying to grow the hobby, educate people, create a community, everything is passive right now. Now the background
Yeah.
stuff that I'm doing, I've been talking about doing this website junk for a long time and rebuilding, and I finally actually have a team that's working on it. No shit. And when that comes. I mean, that's why I've been a ghost lately, is because we've been working hard on that. But when when I haven't been really pushing it, I mean, I haven't done this show for 6 months. Who's really been promoting the hobby and trying to, have a collective? Facebook only pisses me off lately because of all the changes and shit and how it's hard to find stuff, and you see a post 1 minute and then it's gone the next and you can't find it. Everything's sorted by what we think is going to be relevant to you instead of most recent. There's too many people just slinging shit. There's no organization to it. People want to talk about shit in between 50 fucking for sale posts. Like, how do you grow the hobby? I mean, unless you have somebody actively doing it, which we don't. Not right now, at least.
And Dan and Derek, you don't see any new dealers coming in, right?
You
don't
can't.
see anybody.
Can't. Who's going to be a new dealer? I mean, the only thing you're going to be slinging is third-party shit. I mean, you're not going to... it's how much bankroll do I have to eat up how much of the market so I can try and sell it at a profit later. There's no money to be made.
No.
When people are pumping out jerseys like crazy, like they are doing right now, like, why would I pay you, $6,000 right now for an Ovechkin when there's going to be 15 hitting the market in 2 months?
No. I know. It's who's got the money to invest in buying team sets from the minors and junior these days. See, even the juniors, Dan and Derek, they've got lots of shit, man, still. And
Well, the minor league teams, they'll also do a bunch of specialty jerseys. That's that's how they raise money for charity. That's how they get people in the stands.
the AHL does the Remembrance Day jerseys, the Military Night jerseys, but I'm talking about regular stock. Like, if you don't know French in Quebec, you can't communicate with these guys, I mean, but they don't sell. They prefer people to buy the whole set. Who's got money to bankroll to buy sets of, 20 to 25 a piece, Home,
Right.
road. You'll die with that stuff,
Well, you can't move it.
No.
Everybody's
No.
it's just a long line of being spoiled. I mean, it's kind of like it goes in line with what we're seeing socially and economically. That's why everybody, you have this fight right now of social, what is it? Socialism, socialist democrat, or whatever the shit is going on there. It's just it's lazy. It's lazy.
Yeah, no. It's interesting where, I've been a collector for 35, 40 years, and I've stayed my course with the niche market with junior and international shirts, which has done well for me. I refuse to go into NHL because I just look at my gray and Detroit Hockey Company eBay prices. Dan and Barrick, they're taking baths on the jerseys, The prices. It's unbelievable. 99 or less for an authentic NHL gamer,
Well, back in the day, they used to just throw them away. I mean, a jersey wasn't for profit sale. A jersey was, we're going to make this jersey and we're going to use it. And when we use it, it's going to depreciate based on what we put into it because it's been used and it's all tattered and torn, and we get rid of it. And now everybody's, my gray's come into the thing, and they've shown all the teams, like, this is what you could be doing, and now all the teams are doing it. And my gray's been losing teams, and the teams are doing it themselves, and everybody thinks that they know better than the next person. There's left hand doesn't know what right hand's doing. Everybody thinks that their shit's the best. I mean, look at the Kings, how much they're trying to get out of their shit. The only people that are buying that are the people that don't know, and their stuff sells. I mean, every now and then you'll see a jersey of theirs sell, but it's because they're selling to non-collectors, people who don't know. Like, it's the casual fan that just wants a piece. It's not a collector that actually knows what's going on with jerseys, knows the value, knows what affects them. Like, there's an entire, economics to the thing.
Yeah. It's a painful economics. So, we look at the final prices on eBay, $89 for NHL shirt,
You got too much shit, and I mean, when you've got too much star power out there that's available right now, people aren't paying any money for the little guys, the guys that nobody really cares about.
Yeah. Another thing, guys, that's going the way of the dinosaurs is shows. Remember, I talked about in the 80s and 90s, the shows were like straight buying and selling, purchasing, and now the shows have become like a social event. Like you go see the displays and talk. The days of the good old shows are gone too. That's another thing that I wanted to address. Shows are dying. The Toronto show I went in November for a little bit. There was more replica and fake Chinese knockoff jerseys than real stuff,
Oh, we had a good time at the Chicago one we put on, was it 2 years ago? I've been trying
17, almost 2 years ago, so it was 17.
Yeah, come April. Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty good time, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people was just there to show your stuff, not to really sell a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, anymore, back in the day, there wasn't the quantity out there to sell, so when you had something, chances are you could sell it. Can you imagine Migrate trying to figure out what somebody might want to bring it to a show? Like, they'd have to bring fucking half the warehouse. Like, and how many jerseys do you think they have in that warehouse right now? Like 50,000?
Yeah, I've been to the one. I went to the last time I was there in 2003. Man, it's like 3 football fields big,
Imagine dumping all of that onto the hobby right now. Say they couldn't sell any jerseys, right? If they couldn't sell any more jerseys and they just sold them for like $5 just to get them out, can you imagine what it would do to the hobby? What your jerseys would be worth and shit? I mean, supply and demand. Like, if that was my warehouse and I made my nut and I was in profitable zone, I'd burn the motherfucker down. Because that's the only way you keep value of shit. You know you're going to get more stock next year. You know it. Like, I've got 50,000 jerseys right now. I'm going to get another 1,000 next year. When those 1,000 come in, I'm going to, get my pre-sales, have money off the top. It's all going to be paid for. And then they're going to sit in the warehouse. And if everybody buys out of the warehouse and my warehouse empties out because, I took discount to actually sell the things, it's going to bring down the price of just anything. Because, the people that buy a jersey because it's cheap, not because of the team, not because of the player, like, it's freely available. Burn that shit down. You just got too much out there.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest issue. There's just too much out there.
And not enough people coming in to absorb that. Wow. How about the Red Wing store, Derek? There must be a lot of stuff there too, right?
I just got a price list the other day. I think there was about 15 jerseys on the list. But they're all over $1,000, just about. I think there might have been 2 that were under $800. I still have a Glendenning for $1,000. It's like, I'm not going to pay $1,000 for a Glendenning. I've already been there, done that. Like, I'm kind of over it. Like, if you give me, a Glendenning price, I'll pay a Glendenning price. But, I don't know, man. Like, I can get star players from a few years ago, third party, for the same price as you want for a brand new 4th liner.
Yeah.
And the worst part is that shit still sells.
Yeah. No, I'm fortunate to stay with the junior market. That's unique to one set of home, one set of road, unique colors and styles. It's done well for me. But I'm getting tired too, guys. Boorish behavior, the decline and all that. I'm on the verge of packing it in myself, Another good dealer gone the way of the dinosaur because it's not in it anymore. It's not fun. I mean, with the way the hobby's going, Dan and Derek, you just don't want to be in it anymore,
Well, there's nobody cultivating, actual, real hobbyism right now. Right now, everything's done. Where do you think the majority of the Facebook resides right now? Facebook. In Facebook, there's no investment in Facebook. Nobody puts an effort or time. I'm sitting on the shitter. I open up Facebook. Oh, I see a few posts, and then I close it down. Like, there's no real investment behind the hobby right now because it's being stood up by Facebook.
The forums are dead. You know.
Well, I think Facebook they just made it so easy. People just like you go there, the forum.
Well, I mean, that's part of the problem is you made it so easy to go in and out and not invest and not, you know, have any sort of stake in the hobby whatsoever.
And that's where the non the that's they come in, they don't know what they don't really know what they're talking about, or they don't know what they're doing, and they just want a jersey, or you get the trolls, as I call them, the people that are just scoop up the stuff and take it for cheap, because they think you get desperate,
Yeah, well, the Facebook, there's no return on investment, no return on collecting, Derek, and that's simple as that. There's no return. Nothing. You got to do something. I don't know. Did that change?
Well, when I get this website done, I mean, my idea was to hopefully change that, but there's always going to be resistors and stuff like that to it. I mean, there's people, fuck, dude. I mean, Facebook is a cesspool of power tripping.
Mm.
I mean, so you're going to have those people that are going to stunt what you're trying to do, and it's just going to fragment it more. So it really depends on, like, who sees the value in something new and then goes in that direction, because it's so hard to get people to move platform. It really is.
Well, I don't like the future, what it holds, what it looks like. Then in the auction houses, the latest 2 auctions with the prices, man. I mean, prices, people took a bath on some of that stuff too,
Yeah. The high-end stuff, that sells, that holds its value, but the middle guy, the middle player, the young player, whatever, they just,
I know.
Yeah, stuff's just taking a hard hit,
Too much consignment fees. Those hidden fees, Derek and Dan, they're a lot. By the time you finish with $100 bid, you're up to $140, $150. That's insane.
Well, yeah, I mean, nobody is coming in and substantiating change. And if somebody does come in and try to take the space, will they get the support? I remember there was one collector that launched an auction site and to try and compete, and I think he tried to do like 5 or 10%, and nobody backed him. Nobody. But yet, you'll still have the people paying out the nose for 20% hammer, 10%, 20% consignment, plus...
And excessive postage.
Yeah, plus you paying for a postal service to come and pick up your box from somebody's house. You get to pay for the pickup fee. And on top of that, you have to pay this offline payment method that's just a pain in the ass to deal with versus what we're all accustomed to when we buy and pay for shit right now.
Money orders have gone up to $10 to $20 a money order, for heaven's sakes.
So, I mean, when something comes, are people going to embrace the change and try and force these other places to compete with the new? I mean, that's what happened with Facebook and MySpace, right? MySpace didn't compete with Facebook and it went out. I mean, that you see that all the time in the tech industry, and it's always about it's consumer power. And are your consumers smart enough to flex their power and force the old people that are bending you over to stop bending you over? Are they? I don't think this hobby is, but I would love to be proven wrong.
Well, do people embrace change, or it's going to go the way of the dinosaur again,
People might be hesitant, but if something new comes along and it happens and it does good, then the word spreads, and that's how it grows. But you got to have somebody honest doing it. I think we said before, if somebody tried to do it again and there were some issues with pricing and people not getting their gear or getting their jerseys. If that happens, then that auction or that person doing it's going to die. No one's going to trust them, So,
Francis, what's up, man? Thanks for stopping in and taking a listen, brother. Francis is on the chat on Facebook.
Yeah. I don't like what I'm seeing in the NHL stuff and people the hobbies that we know, the cards, the fight tapes, the classic game tapes. There's no new people coming in, and that's discouraging.
Well, why would people come into the fold of the hobby right now when everything is just so what's the
And
word I'm
Mom,
looking for? It's
my mom in the background said the economic times aren't helping either, right, Dan and Derek? I mean,
shit. Economic times being hard, I ain't got that right now. I'm making more money right now than I ever did working my job. I just got 2 kids that I pay out the nose to support. So
yeah, no.
my income has gone up, but my actual like after expenses income has gone down.
Yeah,
Kids are expensive, man.
no
Dude, it's
kidding, guys.
insane.
No, that's why I'm free and I don't have any kids, you know?
Oh, it must
They
be
are.
nice. Somebody's smart and thought ahead.
Kids are.
You
Yeah.
open the door and you got the whole house to yourself. You're like a king, you know?
Don't get me wrong, I love my kids and everything, but damn, I mean, I'd probably be balling out right now, like if I didn't have kids.
Oh, okay.
They only get more expensive, dude. They only get more expensive.
I know. So
Hey,
you guys are not surprised by the downturn of the NHL jerseys and the pricing and all that. It doesn't phase you, right? No.
it's par for the course. I mean, it's been the trend for quite some time now.
Too much supply, not enough people coming in.
And no support for the actual hobby, no real support.
No. I wonder if we'll get back to those days, you know?
I mean, I'm working towards it, but
And
my guys are
they're
only so fast and it's taking me so long. I think I've
Oh,
been
that's
working
good.
on this for 2-3 years now.
Good. That's good.
But then again, it
Dan,
comes down to support. Like, do people as a collective support the new thing? And with Facebook being the way that it is, I don't see it happening, but we'll see. The only thing you can do is present something and then hope anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. My question is, let's say in your closet you have a jersey 20, 30 years ago when authenticity and provenance were like second or no, there was nothing. It's uncut. It's discovered that it's bad. What do you do? Like you paid back then $1,000 for a jersey was a lot of money, you know? What do you do? What recourse do you have? Do you go back to the person who sold it to you?
At that point, you got to keep it and just, it's neat to look at. That's all you got to do. No
But out of
historical
desperation,
significance.
people try to pass that on. You know that.
Yeah, of course they do. It's human nature. People are assholes.
You know. That was then. Remember, Dan and Derek I talked about dressing room deals and trainers and equipment managers selling stuff out the back door. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There was no authenticity. I mean, nobody went there. That thought. Everybody's, oh, I'm getting it from the trainer. You know. It must be good.
Let's talk about authenticity. I mean, nobody really. Holy shit! Hold on a minute. So you remember when we were talking about the score being 4-1 Red Wings, and I told you, oh, they can still lose it. Guess what the score is right now? It's 4-4. I told you they could shit the bed, and they are.
Toronto, 3 goals, eh?
Yeah, 3 unanswered goals. All right. So back on to what we were talking about.
Authenticity.
Authenticity, yeah. So right now it's like, all right, I have this jersey, and all right, do you have a photo match? No, but all the signs are correct. Like, I got it. You could even got it from the player. Like, the provenance is there, like the story behind it. It's got to be my grade authenticated.
Mm.
Like, nobody can
Well,
do their own research and figure it out. Like, somebody else has to issue me some paperwork. Like,
I like it in a way where the auction houses say we're not bound by outside authenticators or so-called experts. But I think they're using that to protect themselves against no returns too, you know? I mean, what I'm saying is, let's say Migrate says the jersey is bad, right? Does the auction house get protected by that clause, Dan and Derek, that we are not bound by outside authenticators?
I mean, that's how I'd run my shit. Like, here's how, if I was running a shit, I would do my best to figure out if it is real or not, so I don't have bad shit in my shit. But if I happen to miss something, like, it's on you. You fucking figure it out. Like, if you're unsure about something and you need more pictures or you need more information, email us, let us know, and you do the fucking research. And then you decide, do you want to make that bid or not? Like, that's kind of life. Like, but here we're in a culture where everybody's, you know, it's do for me. Do for me.
Yeah, that thing that you just said, Derek and Dan, I would agree. Do for me, like me. Oh, instead of whining in this me attitude, why don't we spend the energy? Why don't we spend the energy helping and fostering and helping this hobby grow? There's so much bickering. There's so much,
Well, the knowledge is gone. So
It
there
is.
used to be a point in time where we could be like, all right, how do we know something is real? Here's your telltale signs. How do you know something's fake? Look for these. These are things that are normally
There's not
like, we don't have that knowledge anymore because the knowledge has shifted from, some place where it can be archived appropriately to Facebook, which is dog shit for any of that. It's dog shit. But yet we rely so heavily on Facebook that, shits away your information, makes it impossible to find, and there's no organization to it, and we're satisfied with that. So we did it to ourselves.
Yeah. Then at the end of the day, we look ourselves in the mirror and we just say, yeah, man, you know what they say, man's biggest fear is his own fear. So, we do it upon ourselves, Derek and Dan, with this hobby and other hobbies too. Look at the card market now. Nobody wants cards,
Oh, they price themselves out. That's plain and simple right there. The card companies got greedy, and they went with the inserts instead of the common card, and they priced the kids out. How can you grow a hobby if you can't have the younger people involved in it? Now, I'm not saying that the jersey should be lower priced so kids can get a game-worn jersey, but we've talked in the show before. A lot of us got started in collecting through cards.
Yeah.
And as we grew and got more money, you then could go into other things, and we all got into game-worn jerseys, But people start out in cards, and then they go into other things, other more expensive hobbies, if you say.
Yeah,
but you've priced the kids out. If you go to a card shop now, the dealers, all they do is open the packs, pull out the inserts and the autograph and the jersey cards, and sell them, and the other cards, they don't matter.
I know.
You can't go. You can't go in there for a common pack of cards. Even at Target, it's like 89 cents, $1. You can't grow that, and that translates. I think that basic collection translates to game-worn jerseys in the long.
Like even stuff from the 70s cards, they're not selling either. It's unbelievable, I want to see the hobby come back. I like Derek's plan to get control back and bring it back to where it was. It's a challenge. It's a big challenge because we've derailed all that, We've gone off the tracks. We can bring it back, but there's going to be need of cooperation and shifting gears and changing attitudes, Derek and Dan, The teams, there's a lot of boorish behavior, as I said, with the teams.
We're never going to get to the point where we can actually do that as a collective because everybody's bullshit gets in the way. I had to fucking unfriend Tom the other day because he fucking talked some shit about my kids. He couldn't handle a simple political discussion, right? About guns, no less. And he wanted to talk shit about me and how I handle my guns and then throw my kids into it. Like, people can't... The problem isn't just solely the hobby. What the hobby is seeing is it's an attribute of our social structure right now, where people can't talk to each other and about stuff. Like, everybody's always trying to jump somebody else's shit. Everybody's trying to be offended. Everybody's trying to talk some shit and push their political agenda or this and that and the other. Nobody can just coexist or be like, fuck it. Nobody can. Like, the social climate right now is being decimated, and it's drifting into the hobby. That is what you're saying.
Yeah, I know. You can feel it. I've worked hard, and I love the chase. I love talking with the teams, getting the good deals and all that. But the whole thing you just talked about, Derek, gets you down. It gets you down.
Here's the thing: is ignorance is bliss. Honest to God, ignorance is bliss. That's the best thing. The more you know about how shit works, the more you know you don't understand, and the more you could see things to be better than what they are, and it is depressing. So, I mean, I used to get upset about stuff, and it's just like, anymore you can't control it, you just gotta laugh, and I go into every conversation, I go into every morning assuming that everybody around me is stupid.
Mm.
And that helps me get through the day. And I mean, this hobby's no different. I mean, I'll fucking put some shit out there and somebody, with a price. I'll be like, hey, I have this thing with this price. And never fails 5 minutes after. How much?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It's just discouraging sometimes, You work so hard. You're one of the last true dealers and all that, and, Look at Milt Byron. He was the migrant of those days, and,
Well, people grow out of it, then somebody comes in and...
But nobody's coming in, Dan. Nobody's coming in. That's
a cycle. It's a cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to burn shit down for it to grow back up, man.
Yeah, look at baseball and football. They're the same thing. So many baseball and football jerseys that are skin tight, like the Lions. Remember the old nice Wilson and Russell athletic loose jerseys, size 4 you could wear? Now you can't wear those. Those are skin tight jerseys. You see the football games, guys,
They can't even get the jerseys on themselves. They have to have trainers help them put the jerseys on and squeeze them over the pads.
With my when I was with Calgary Stampeders, there's actually people that help linebackers put the jersey on,
You ever watch a football player, after the game, they're going to trade jerseys. They can't get the fucking jersey off their own shit.
Hey, Derek, remember I sent you the response from the Baylor equipment manager on eBay? Remember what he said? Dan, even the college schools are getting product up at the wazoo, like 3 sets, and, they're just flooding the market with $30 to $50 ship,
Well, they go through and they look at their things. They go, look, we've sold these last couple of years. Let's make more and sell more. They look at the dollar, and we look at the collector aspect of it. Not the investment. Not saying, oh, this is my investment for retirement. We just look at as an investment, and teams look at money. How many can I produce, and what's the breaking point to where how many I can have and sell? And there is a breaking point, and right now they can make 2 or 3 sets and sell 2 or 3 sets. So they that's what they're sticking at,
Yeah. Junior teams are notorious. Remembrance Day jerseys, Don Cherry jerseys, play jerseys, I mean...
I think the Walleye have 6 specialty jerseys this year, and then they're blacks, yellows, and whites.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one I've seen posted around now is they're making for the teddy bear toss game. But the minor league teams they use it for their charity and stuff. So maybe there's a point there, but again, if somebody's spending the money on a specialty jersey or a one game jersey, they don't have the money then to go out and buy the set 1 jersey that that the guy played 20 games in.
My favorite argument behind that is I'm getting it because it's a tax write-off. That's somebody that doesn't understand economics.
Yeah.
How much do you get to write off? $1,000 comes off your gross aggregated income for a $1,200 jersey, right? But you don't get to write off $1,000. It's just coming off of your gross aggregated income. So if your tax bracket ends up putting you in 10%, say, and you wrote off, $1,000 off your gross aggregated, you're really only writing off $100 in taxes. So you spent $900 on the fucking jersey. Do the math. Understand economics. Goddamn.
Yep. I don't think there's something wrong with that system. I think Canadian Borders, kind of the customs lawyer or a U.S. revenue lawyer could look at that. How can you write it off when you're getting a thing in return? I mean, some people would argue, why are they allowed to write it off? Because they're getting a jersey for their, a tax write-off, a charitable contribution is when you donate money and you don't get nothing in return.
It's the amount minus the value. So what they do is they say the jersey's worth X amount of dollars. So whatever you paid over that is considered your donation. So you can deduct that from your gross aggregated income.
They allow people to do that because that's how they maximize the dollar. If they said, hey, if we're gonna do a can collection at the game, put in my pitch in $10, but that person might spend $1,200 on a jersey. and then they say, okay, well, we just got an extra $1,000 from you, you know. So
that's legal in the U.S. IRS environment. That's how they work. You can write it off if you pay more than the value. That's your write-off.
Yep.
So it's by the books, yeah.
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 And you can get the form from the charitable entity. But again, people don't do the math. They think I just wrote off $1,000. So instead of paying, over the course of a year $10,000, I get $1,000 back. You don't get $1,000 back. You might get $100 of that $1,000 you spent back. You still have a ridiculous investment in a jersey that's worth nothing.
No, I know. I'm concerned about that. The hobby, it's gone off the rails, and the interest and the decline and all that. It's tough to be a dealer in most. Like as I said, I do well for junior shirts, but to touch NHL stuff, there's no way. There's no way. You write your own death ticket these days, right?
It just depends on how you're buying. I mean, you can't buy and sell one at a time. You have to go to a team. You have to buy all their shit up front.
You definitely can't go to my Gray or Brian Rogers and say, I'll take 50 to 100 shirts from you. So if they can't sell them, what makes you think you'll sell them,
Well, you only have to sell a handful of them.
If you get a good price.
So say you go to a team and you're like, I'll give you $100,000 for all your shit this year. And they've got a couple star players on there, and you sell, the 20 jerseys that those star players are going to wear for $5,000 a piece. You just made your nut. And then you have everybody else to fall back on.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Toronto. Like, if you went to Toronto right now and for some reason they were going to sell you that, I mean, how many jerseys is Austin Matthews going to wear? He's going to wear at least four to 8. And then you have Marner 4 to 8. I mean,
Viris.
If you ink the right deal, all you need to do is sell the star players, which will sell in this climate, and you make your nut.
That's interesting. Instead of these 20 whites, let's say 25 whites, there's Marner, there's Austin Matthews, and Tavares.
But at least lucky they're loaded with stars right now.
Yeah. Well, what do you pay if you pay $20,000?
Their jerseys from the market for 3 years.
Yeah, Morello.
They're going to flood the They're going to flood the market now.
Lou Lamoriello put the clamps on, and I found out more information. Like we talked about this last year, why some GMs and put the clamp on things. From what I heard is that GMs are the middle people between management and the other people, so they're exercising apparently management's wishes of padlocking the stuff. But I don't buy that, because in the Edmonton Oilers Nike deal, Wexler went above Sather and just sold the stuff while Sather was there. There's some teams that keep the stuff under padlock because a certain GM wants to keep it away from the collectors for some strange reason. It happened in junior hockey, in Barrie with Bert Templeton and North Bay. I still can't understand the mentality of a general manager getting involved with hockey equipment. He should be concentrating on the ice product, never mind the business aspect.
Everything's nickel and dime these days.
Like Toronto, Dan, you said for 3 years there weren't any GameWorn jerseys. You know how many sets they have from 2015? 25, 30 sets.
Yeah, I mean, and now they're I think auctioning them off. I don't think they've actually put them all up for game day auctions on the app and stuff like that. But
at the show, Toronto in November, Brandon and the team were there, and they were starting them at 300 taxes in, and I didn't see any action on them. Cadres were 700, 800. I didn't see any action. I didn't see any buyers.
No, it's they're just gonna flood the market now. Instead of coming out each year and letting now you're just gonna have all these abundance of jerseys coming out there. So
that's what Brandon said. And this month they were gonna come out with the first new design, I believe, 2016-17. You couldn't even sell the previous year's one. You still have racks of that stuff. How the market can't bear all these jerseys at once, guys. You know that. Right?
Dump them all.
Right.
Yeah, what price, Derek?
$5.
It will never happen. You know 150,
Yeah.
200 is fair, but well, how many people will you get? People are happy with fake Chinese knockoffs, guys, and Fanatic stuff. You know that.
Well, you end up doing what the Red Wings do. I mean, I remember not too long ago, Datsuk retired, right? And the last four of his jerseys were originally priced at $12,000.
Mm.
They didn't sell. Then they got knocked
No.
down to 9,000. They didn't sell. Knocked down to 6,000. They didn't sell. Finally, they got knocked down to 3,000, and they all sold. But
Yeah.
how much of a price decrease was that? A 75% discount. You ever see Migrate do a 75% sale? Can
No,
you
never
imagine
will.
what the fuck would happen if Migrate did a 75% sale and all
Well, they were
that
at,
shit hit
weren't
the
they at,
market?
weren't they at 50% for on
Yeah,
certain
They don't
jerseys
do 50% anymore.
for
I think the
I
most they
don't.
do is 40%.
was
Um,
the,
they can't do it, guys, because if they do, they might as well. They've destroyed the hobby. You know, they can't do it.
It'd be interesting to
That's
see
what,
what would happen.
that's why the team issued and the game issued stuff is never offered at good sales because you can't flood the market with team issued stuff for 50 to $100. You know, that will kill your game worn jersey market too. You know.
It always surprises me how much some of that shit goes for because the teams actually pay 250 or 260
Yeah,
per jersey just to get one before they even letter it.
I know. It's 180 blank and 250 lettered. Same with junior hockey too. It's 150, 180 blank. Cresting is not cheap now, guys. $100 for the patterns. You know that. It's not cheap. I
yeah, and they
remember.
buy them in bulk. So I bet you that the teams have got 250 to 300 in each jersey.
Yeah, I know. Crested. Crested.
Yeah, the pro ready to go,
Mm,
ready to wear for Austin Matthews. It cost the Maple Leafs $300 for his jersey to be ready for him to wear.
I know.
So
And in some instances, people say that it's outlandish that they want $200 for a game issued. It costs them
that's
fucking
what baffles me.
$300 to make.
That's
Well,
what baffles me. They'll argue about a game worn jersey for $200,
yeah,
but they'll turn right around and go to NHL.com and spend 300 to 350, maybe 400 for an authentic jersey. It
maybe
makes
more.
no sense. It makes absolutely no sense.
I
And you're
know.
complaining about a $200
Game worn jersey.
game worn jersey.
I know. Or less. 125,
Yeah,
160.
I just, I just, you know,
Like, let's look at what Dan said. Authentic prices are much more expensive than game worn, yet people run to the authentic and the fanatic stuff. For 125, you're getting a nice gamer, and people are not doing it, you know? Nope.
yeah,
So, what does that tell you, you know?
Buy
I like
vintage.
the, yeah. In fact, don't forget, there weren't many sets. There's not enough supply out there, you know?
Oh, trust
There's
me, I
only,
know. I can't fucking find a jersey that I want at a price that I'm willing to pay right now. And, I mean, for me, it's just a waiting game at this point.
show me Red Wing Sandal mesh jerseys. They're hard to find because they only had one set of home, one set of roads in the early 80s, you know? And the Masco ones with the fancy numbering, oh, the classic English style numbering in 83, you know?
Yep.
Those are, there weren't many. There was just one set of home, one set of roads, you know? Maybe vintage is still holding its value, guys, don't you think? But you see some of the prices coming down for 80s and 90s stuff now, you know?
I think it just depends on the player and what
It
people are.
it depends on who has it because you have people turning in their vintage shit to buy that new off the shelf shit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah, I know.
So it
I
really
don't know.
depends.
I like the old days when there were one set of home, one set of roads, good wear. But the negative side, there was no research. They just got the jersey. Hey, I got it from the game trainer or the team. Must be real. But there's a lot of bad stuff going on there, guys, in the 80s and 70s and early 90s. You heard McNall pumping out Gretzky's and other players. And, you know, I mean, it happened. But it was affordable. I remember McNall's employee put an ad in the Hockey News. You could get jerseys starting at 200 from the Kings in early 90s with a nice patch. It's the 75th, 25th patch, you know? I prefer the old days because the product was scarce and it was fun. But again, on the negative side, authenticity. There wasn't much talk about authenticity, and a lot of bad jerseys surfaced, guys, from trainers and collectors and dealers too.
It'd be
That's the
nice
problem.
if resources were easier to come by as well, as far as research goes. Like Getty, like there's years that Getty doesn't even have much
And
for like pictures and shit. Like
mm,
the early '90s, like for
yeah, this
specific
happened.
players, you can't find shit.
Nope. That's why I treasure my DVD Hockey Night in Canada collection of stuff. I like that. But I'm not gonna, I just watch it here and there, and there is stuff to back it up, but not as much as we have today. Not as much. You know. But I miss the good old days. It was unique. It was getting involved with the hockey teams. I saw firsthand in the dressing room what was going on and all that. There was no accountability. Stuff was being pumped out the door, like in Chicago. Remember I talked about Randy Lacey pumping stuff out?
Man, I have such a, pro- I have this thing like inside of me that hates missing out on shit. Like
Mm.
I see other people buy shit or like they're talking about a sale that I didn't know about, and I'm like, motherfucker. But it's like I wouldn't have
Yeah.
bought anything at it anyway.
Yeah.
But I still like I have this completionist aspect in me where I want to
Yeah.
always have like all the opportunity or have
Yeah.
all the chance or whatever. It's like
Well,
even if I know I didn't want anything.
the sharing is gone. The information is gone.
It's greed, man. Welcome
Mm.
to,
For what? Derek and Dan, piece of clothing, piece of used clothing. That's what it comes down to.
well, I mean, it wasn't that long ago where I was preaching, the hobby is about the people. Like the jerseys are cool, but it's about the people.
Yes, it
And
is.
people are starting to piss me off even more where I just don't give a shit. Like I
No.
fucking had to unfriend Tom for fuck's sake.
Mm.
And honestly, with my kids, it's hard for me to keep friends, let alone like friends in the hobby. It's like nobody goes out of their way.
Mm.
You don't have a widespread like uh
No, no.
grouping of people. Like everything is so close, so niched. You have
Mm.
fragments of like 5 people in a group that'll look out for each other, but it's not like people don't look out for others as a whole. It's like,
No.
oh, I'm super cool with you, so like you're my best friend. It's like you can't just get somebody to be just genuinely
Mhm.
nice as a whole. It's nuts.
Mm. No. So what's the future?
I guess it's what you make of it.
Mm. Well, I predict NHL prices will be coming down even further. There's no question about it. What I see on the eBay, the shits, as you call them there. I mean, Phoenix, Arizona. What else do they have? Arizona.
Who?
Brian. He's a great.
He only has Arizona now.
I've known him for many years. He's a great guy. Brian has exclusive contracts with the Sharks and Arizona Coyotes and one other team. I like him. He's a great guy. He's a super dealer and all that. But there's so much stuff that, I say to myself, Brian, why are you getting so little for, you work hard for it, I mean, 79, 89, 99 bucks for Arizona, the new style Coyote jerseys, guys, That hurts, I
That's
don't like to see that.
is the problem with the business model. Like,
Yeah.
I do stuff for the crunch, but I don't
Yeah.
own any of that inventory. I put
Mm.
it out there. I try to help them sell their shit. I try to get word out to people who otherwise might not know what the crunch have available. I try to give the collectors what they want as far as pictures
Mm.
of the jerseys. Here's the wear. Here's the information, or do a little bit of research on it that they'd want to know. But I don't own these jerseys. I didn't buy them. I'm not interested in having inventory. When you have
No.
inventory, that's when you have a problem. I don't want inventory. I
No.
want to help people find shit.
No, me too. The good thing is that whatever inventory I put on eBay, it sells. It's out the door in 7 days, which is good, I don't have stock after that, which is good. That warehouse in my grade, 50,000, I bet you it's more than that. I bet you it's much more. you're looking about stuff that is almost 20, 25 years old. The AHL, ECHL, all football. That's a lot of stuff there, and Dan. I'd say it's more than 50,000 shirts.
Oh, I was thinking 50,000 hockey. I didn't even think about basketball and football jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
I get those fucking emails. Like, I want to not receive non-hockey shit. I don't give a shit about anything else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You think more teams will get smart and do it on their own, like Edmonton and all that? I mean, you think Barry will lose more teams, or he'll stay as it is?
Uh,
He's not getting.
for me,
He's
I
not
hate it
getting.
when teams do their own shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know.
It's hard if you don't live in the state, or you can't go to the games, or go down to the arena, or not talk to me. It makes it hard to get a hold of it unless they um, develop something. But usually, what they develop is online, and then how up to date is that, and then the game out there, how good are they? I will give it that when it goes to Migrate or Brian, it goes to somebody who knows the jerseys, and they
Yes.
have it. If they say they got it,
I like to peruse
And,
shit. I like to see what's out there, and when a team handles their own shit, I probably am not going to hear about it because they're not marketing to me, because I'm not following 32 fucking teams on Facebook and weeding through all their bullshit posts just to find shit that pertains to me.
Well, an example is in Winnipeg. I just talked with Pat Lelilet, who handles the Jets GameWorns. They have a list from 2011, and Pat's trying to do something for me. I sent him what I want, and he says, I've told these guys to take down that list. Most of it is gone many years ago, and see, when teams handle their stuff, there are teams where you call them and you ask their representative for where. They say, why are you asking me for where? They have no idea what you're asking them. Don't, at least with Migraine and those Brian, they can describe the where, they can describe. A lot of front office people, Derek and Dan, don't want to go through the process of describing the jersey.
No,
So
they
it's
just
you
want to buy it or not.
right?
Keep it going, I'll be right back.
All they want to say, you want to buy it or not. They only said, and that's what makes it, that's what makes it tough, The teams do it. I mean, I'm not saying all players like that. I mean, I've talked to teams, and we've all talked to teams. You've all made your phone calls, and some people are very knowledgeable, and some people, are more than willing to help you describe the jersey.
Yeah.
Or, hey, yes, the white one has more wear than the blue one. Would you like the white one? But it's just the being able, and the problem is when it goes from the team to a company.
Yeah, no.
There's a cost there, and then the jersey gets jacked up again, And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if there is a way to do it. If there's a way where we can have a generalization of what jerseys are worth, but I guess it's just what you feel it's worth, what you feel you want to pay.
I remember 2 years ago, Jay Miller suggested do a Migrate type up with the junior shirts. Then there's over 50 junior shirts, Dan, and even though there's one set of home, one set of roads, I mean, that's 3,000 jerseys. I don't think the market can absorb 3,000 junior shirts in 1 year. No way,
Right.
Chance. I like Jay's concept, and if, when I move on, if he wants to do it, I'd give him credit if he can start it up. Because CHL Auctions only does specialty jerseys. If you look at CHL Auctions right now, I don't see regular season jerseys.
No.
It's all
the regular season jerseys
are left for me or Jay or somebody else who wants,
Man, I only know of. Well, I think it's an OHL team, right? The Spitfire have theirs on their website.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, I know the Firebirds do.
They have them on their website too for $2.25.
Yeah, after the ones that are left, after they do the auctions, they do the dash auction, but they're even harder to get. I think the lower you go, when you go from NHL to AHL to ECHL to SPHL down to OHL, the lower you go, the harder it is to get the jersey.
Yeah, it is. Derek, we were talking about when I move on, Jay Miller had this talk with me. He would setting up a Migrate of the Canadian Junior Hockey League. All 50 teams. First of all, you'd be 2,500 jerseys with a program start on the market. That's a lot of shirts. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
there's.
I'll leave that yet. But yeah, that's a
2,500 jerseys with the first day of the program. I mean, I like Jay Miller's concept. Yeah, I would love for somebody to take that over, but
Here's the thing. I'd rather have one place to go than
yeah,
32 places to go. So look at it
right.
like this. Say all 32 teams, because I'm going to factor in Seattle. Say all 32 teams in the
Mhm.
NHL decide to sell their own jerseys, and they all just list them on their own website. As a collector, you want to
Yeah,
see what's out there. Are you really going to browse 32 fucking websites just to peruse shit? That's the one
no,
thing that I really, really like. That's the thing that I like the most about Migrate is just a consolidated
yeah,
effort
yeah. I know.
of knowing what's out there, knowing what's
Well,
available from all places. I don't,
well, I approached.
I don't like these 50 different game day auction bullshits. Like,
Mm,
I don't even open them up anymore.
no.
Like, I don't do the game day auction bullshit, and it's like there could be something really cool in there for me that I would really
Yeah,
like, but I'm not. I don't. It's too much of an investment. It's tiring. It's a hassle.
yeah, I know. I even approached
It's too
CHL
spread out.
auctions to offer to do a migrate thing with the junior shirts. They told me to basically go away. I wish they would go away because what are they doing really? They're just pumping out specialty shirts. Where's the other regular shirts? You know, the multi-wear jerseys, Dan and Derek with wear and all that. You know,
well, there were too many sets.
and juniors just one set of home, one set of road.
You
Yeah,
you
and that's
gotta
why the
understand. Most of these
the war
teams,
always
most of
have
these
more wear.
places don't give a shit. They don't give
No,
a
like
shit.
No, nope.
Shawinigan and Valdor and Baie-Comeau and some other remote teams like Sudbury. You know, I mean, most of these teams in the Quebec League, they're still run like with a few people. They don't care, you know.
It
And I've
just means
offered
that
like,
somebody else is going to have another job that they need to do that they have to care about, and it's much easier for people to not have to worry about it and to brush you under the rug than to actually have to do something.
well, why, in another sense, if Nick is buying from the junior teams, why would they do something else? They know Nick was always good with buying jerseys and all that, so that's a positive for me. I mean, they like to deal with me, so you know. But
Dichotomy of man. They can do it better. They don't want to do it better, but they can.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
That's the thought
Well, I hope.
process. It's like I'm not going to let you do this because I can do it better. But unfortunately for you, I'm not going to do it at all, so it just doesn't get done. You see that
Mhm.
in every workplace environment. That's just how
And
human society works.
that's it. Summing it up, human society has caused what we talked about tonight with GameWorn stuff. You know, I hope it comes back, Derek. Your efforts are greatly appreciated by longtime people like myself. I care. I've hustled all over the world to get these things for people, and I do my best as always. But things are against me now, and you know, I hope you understand what I'm talking about. What we talked about tonight. I like your vision and all that. I hope it does work and it flourishes because it's time for a good cleansing out, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping my guys have something here in the next few months that I
Yeah.
can get a few select people that are super interested in the hobby to
Yeah.
give it a run through and make sure everything's good before we actually do some sort of a release.
Yeah.
Uh, and then
Well, and
hopefully people take it and run with it. I plan on setting it
I-
up and then do nothing.
there is hope, and I like the positive then what Derek is saying. So you got to believe, and I hope it works out, Derek. Your venture is fresh, modern, outside the box thinking. That's what you need, a shot in the arm with that, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate the kind words, man.
I keep trying. I'll keep, I unearth these great deals and unique, hard to find niche jerseys, but it's becoming a challenge with all this, what we talked about tonight, the society behavior. You know that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
maybe I'll float some stuff at you here. We'll talk a little
Yeah,
bit about
just
something
like
after.
if I do decide to pack it in, which I'm leaning towards it, I'd like to remain behind the scenes so I can help people and I can help you with my knowledge and all that. That's what it's all about, sharing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I had a good time. Thanks. I wish you and Dan and everybody out there happy holidays. All the best.
thanks, man. You too.
Happy
Yeah.
collecting. May you find the jersey or collectible that you always want, and go get it.
All right, you guys take it easy. Thanks for joining me on this one-off. We'll see if this happens again sometime, if we can get people to commit to dates and times, huh?
Have a nice evening. What's the score now, Derek, between Detroit and Toronto?
I think it's still 4-4. Oh, nope. Red Wings won in overtime.
Oh,
5-4.
wow. So not all was lost.
Yeah, it was close there. They tried to smooch the pooch there.
Well, have a good evening and happy holidays, everyone.
All right, you too, man.
care.
Take it easy.
Take care.